Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a very major change that is coming to Twitter, announced by the man himself. Now, this is not necessarily just a major overhaul to Twitter altogether. In fact, the big change that I am talking about is a complete and total rebrand, including a logo change and a name change. That's right, folks. Out with the old, in with the new. Twitter is officially turning into X. Now, this is similar to what Zuckerberg did with Facebook, rebranding Facebook into Meta, but there is one major difference. Zuckerberg did not change the name of Facebook to Meta, just the parent company to Facebook is now called Meta. We've seen the same thing with Google, YouTube, Google, Android, all of that is all ran by one mega parent corporation called Alphabet Incorporated. X, while being kind of similar to those two, there is one major difference. Twitter itself is getting a complete and total rebuild. It's time to say goodbye to the iconic bird logo and the iconic name that has been literally with the company ever since Twitter became Twitter. It was literally the OG name that has been with us for almost 2 decades. So changing the name that people have been familiar with for such a long period of time, people grow to become so familiar with it. And just to give Twitter that drastic of a change where you get rid of its iconic bird logo and get rid of its iconic name and just change everything to X sounds unethical and pretty much unnecessary. So this week, we could be witnessing the final days of Twitter slowly starting to wind down as Twitter starts to completely and totally rebrand itself into X. Now, the reason why X was the name chosen for this new Twitter overhaul and rebrand actually has to do with Elon himself, since the name X has been used before by Elon Musk himself. In 1999, Elon Musk had this idea, and this was around the time when the internet was starting to become more and more mainstream. Elon Musk decided to start up this company, which he called X, or X.com, which is its actual name. The idea for X.com was to be able to transfer money from one person to another person via email. And this was around the time when email was growing in popularity and becoming a go-to of communication. Again, the internet was really starting to grow. I would say this was right on the cusp of the golden age of the internet, late 90s, early 2000s. That's sort of like the sweet spot that we're talking about here. We're talking about only a few years before the real true golden age of the internet. So Elon Musk pitches this idea of being able to email people money rather than just, sending them a check or sending them cash in an envelope, going to a bank, transferring from one account to another, and whatnot. Pretty complicated stuff. I'm pretty sure some of the old timers down in the comments would let me know what it was like before the internet. X.com was meant to simplify all of that, reduce some of the hassles with transferring money, and just being able to do it in a more convenient way, especially with a growing service like email at the time. So, X.com was Elon's idea/pitch of being able to do money transfers just through emailing them money. However, there was another company who also had a similar idea of being able to simplify money transfers. This Palo Alto-based Silicon Valley startup went by the name of Confinity Inc., founded by 3 entrepreneurs, Max Levchin, Peter Thiel, and Luke Nosek. Not only they had the same idea of what Musk pitched, sending money via email, but they also pitched the idea of having a digital wallet on the other hand to coincide with this payment service. So X.com merged with Confinity and led to the creation of what we now know as PayPal. And the rest is history. So the X naming goes back quite a bit, but is now being recycled 24 years later in this new Twitter rebrand. Now, I'm not really too keen with this rebrand, obviously. As I said earlier, Many people are way too familiar with the name and logo of Twitter. I myself am way too familiar with the name and logo, and I have sort of a little bit of like the whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach to the name and logo. And there's been a lot of decisions that Elon Musk made with Twitter that I don't like. There's been a lot of that. The name change and rebrand is one of those things that I disagree with, and is only the tip of the iceberg. I can put a list on screen of everything that he has done that I don't like. I will admit that. But don't forget, the reason why Elon bought Twitter in the first place was not to destroy the site. He did have good intentions when he initially made the $44 billion payment. Once he made everything official and officially put it pen and paper, Musk just said, hey, listen, I want to free everyone on social media and make Twitter what it was intended to be, a public town square. I agree. I think Elon did something that was truly fantastic, turning Twitter into what it was meant to be. And you look at the United States and the Western world, and really the social media in the West before Musk took over Twitter, I mean, it was a goddamn dystopian hellhole. I remember doing just like, talking what was going on with Twitter, really onerous. Facebook, really onerous. Twitch, really onerous. Google, I mean, they're still doing it to this day. Optimus literally made a video about it just a week ago about certain creators getting hammered by YouTube, giving people strikes for no reason, and the Team YouTube Twitter account literally replying with, our decision is final, and your strike for nudity and violence still remains, despite them not breaking any community guidelines or containing what they got striked for. And this is exactly why Twitter, and someone with the whole mindset and thought process of Elon himself, no matter how bad Twitter runs, regardless of any terrible decision that Elon Musk makes for Twitter, Twitter will still be a winner. As long as you are pro-freedom and pro-free speech on the internet, you will always win hands down. And I know I and many other independent commentators have made thousands of videos talking about this already. I don't know if you guys remember like when all these people, particularly conservatives and other apolitical people who just made edgy content like PewDiePie, these people were getting banned 2018, 2019 and whatnot, Alex Jones being completely deplatformed, Mumpky Jones getting his channel taken down, PewDiePie with the whole Fiverr drama, the whole Trump situation with January 6th. The whole argument was, obviously that's against freedom of speech. And they would say in response, well, it doesn't matter, they're a private company, they could do whatever the fuck they want. Build your own Twitter if you're upset. Of course, that argument is no longer used because Musk now has Twitter and they're operating under different rules and different guidelines. But that's just the whole idea of it. So you have YouTube, who for some reason likes to give people random strikes for guidelines that are not even broken in the video that they're striking, even if it contains no nudity, no violence. Somebody appeals it, and Team YouTube responds by saying, oh, the decision's final. Yes, we know you didn't break any community guidelines, but your strike is still going on. Your channel's been taken down. Your decision is final. Your channel is permanently deleted. So obviously this is a blatant violation of free speech, and with YouTube, look, and listen, I know YouTube's great and everything, and, it's what I do for a living, and God forbid I get booted off here. So I do get it, but the issue is when somebody makes any video and it gets falsely striked for a community guideline strike, despite the fact that not a single community guideline was broken in this video, and then that creator appeals that strike, and then you respond after manually reviewing it, despite that there's no community guidelines that were violated, you just go out and say, oh, yep, the decision's final, your channel is striked, your channel's been taken off the internet. I mean, come on, man. And you also can't be going back like a year or two ago and banning RFK podcasts or taking down episodes of Joe Rogan every time he has somebody controversial like Alex Jones. I mean, come on. That's censorship. I know I've been talking about this a lot, but that's blatant fucking censorship. This is America. Can we at least have some actual fucking decency here? Can we at least have some moral goddamn standards around here, please? Do we really have to go full censorship? And it's like, oh my god, RFK might be a threat to our democracy. We have to go and ban him off everything and completely deplatform him and censor and silence everything that he is saying. I mean, the dude's only getting like 13% of the polls anyway. Nobody even follows what he is saying. This dude's not going to get nominated anyway. He's probably going to drop out right before the Iowa caucuses even begin. They say the same thing about Alex Jones, despite the crazy shit he says, and not everyone knows who the dude is or even watches him. And if they do, only a very few percent of people in this country and the world actually believes what Jones says most of the time. Contrary to the other things that turned out to be true, InfoWars is only viewed by a minority of people in this country anyways. Is it really necessary to go back 2 years ago and completely ban podcasts or ban specific episodes of a podcast because Alex Jones is one of the guests or they talk about Alex Jones? So, you have this situation and Musk and Twitter will still succeed no matter what because you have all these tech firms. I know Threads was just a new thing this month, but to be fair, nobody really expected Threads to be the ultimate Twitter killer and be the new replacement of Twitter. It was never really going to challenge Twitter. It's very buggy. It's very poorly put together. It doesn't really have the interface to actually interact with other people. All it is really is just a very poor attempt to create a Twitter alternative, and that's basically just it. I went on it actually a few times. It is very horrible. I really do not like it. I'm not even really that active here. I mean, it's pretty lefty at times, more censorious than even Twitter was. I really do not think that it actually matters. It's not going to be that ultimate replacement of Twitter. In fact, the app is essentially dying, and by the time this video is uploaded, I bet the app is already dead and nobody really uses it. I mean, it's a terrible app. The interface sucks. Pretty much everything about the app sucks. It's a terrible experience, and I'll save that for a separate video. Point is, you get the idea here. Elon Musk wanted to create a free speech platform, and he essentially succeeded in doing so, which I will give him props for that, despite the things that he did that I don't like. You also have to keep in mind, Elon Musk had to buy Twitter. Twitter was not originally his creation. Twitter was founded by Jack Dorsey and a few other guys in San Francisco on a playground in 2005. Yes, Jack Dorsey was one of the founders of Twitter. So Elon had no involvement with the creation of Twitter, and he had to buy the company to own the site altogether and have control of it. So I would assume that this whole X rebranding thing was to make it his own thing and has his own style to it now that he's the sole owner of Twitter. Another reason, and Musk explained this as his reasoning of why he's rebranding Twitter to X, is the fact that he sees Twitter as more than just a social networking app, and that a free speech social media platform is just the tip of the iceberg of what he wants to do. Elon has this idea of building what is referred to as a super app that is not just social media alone, or an everything app in the words of the man himself. Now, a super app is an app on your phone that includes pretty much every service that you can think of into one central location. It's an app that is a payment service, but is also a social network, a shopping app, a digital wallet, an instant messenger, a delivery service, a VIOP service like Discord, a community site like Reddit or Amino, a microblogging site. So think of a super app as a mix between Reddit, Discord, Amino, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, eBay, Amazon, Uber, PayPal, Cash App, and Crypto.com, all mixed into one single app. A good example of a super app is WeChat up in China, which is not just a Chinese WhatsApp, as most people would interpret it as, but it also doubles down as a payment service, a social network, a marketplace, a community site, and a delivery service, and Weibo, another app, can even count as one too. Now, super apps do not really exist in the United States. In fact, I don't think there's even a WeChat-like super app at all in the Western world. WeChat and Weibo might be the only examples, so there's pretty much no equivalent of this in the West. So Elon Musk wants to create an American Western equivalent of WeChat. And what better way to do that than using Twitter as a building block? And he's actually been pitching this idea since he first bought Twitter, and he, first came up with the idea of buying Twitter. And he says Twitter is going to be more than just that, so it needs a new name and a completely new overhaul to support his so-called everything app project. Now, this kinda does make a little bit of sense, considering that we have pretty much arrived in a completely different era of the internet. Recently, for the past couple of years, some of you have noticed that you've been hearing a lot of new keywords lately, and hearing a lot about certain things like metaverses, NFTs, blockchains, ChatGPT, and Midjourney, and AI, and Web 3.0. Now, 2020 was considered like the last year of Web 2.0. We're now semi-officially arriving into Web 3.0 and reached a completely new era of the internet. So what better way to get people more comfortable with Web 3.0 by creating your own version of WeChat, but better and more suited for Web 3.0. There is some understanding to that, and the man himself wants to use Twitter as a building block for this X super app. However, on the contrary, the name change altogether is fucking stupid, and it's basically marking the end of Twitter. Twitter has had some ups and downs. There is absolutely no denying that, we all know, but you can't change the iconic name and logo of something that people have been familiar with that long enough period of time. Besides, the name change is already fucking stupid to begin with. I highly doubt that there are going to be people who are gonna say, what's your X account? Or follow me on X. I just sent you the link on X. I'll text you on X. Hit me on my X. I'm gonna buy that on X. You see what I mean? It's basically just creating nonsense word salads, and it's just too confusing. I still think there's going to be people, when Twitter changes its name to X, they're just gonna continue calling it Twitter and continue calling the posts tweets. It's just like the situation with the American Airlines Arena. The arena is now called the Kaseya Center, and before that, FTX Arena. Nobody really calls it those names, especially FTX. Everybody is all too familiar with American Airlines Arena, and people are going to continue calling it the American Airlines Arena, even if it's officially called the Kaseya Center. A better example would be the Sears Tower in Chicago. Name one person who calls it the Willis Tower, besides maybe even a few people not from the city or just tourists. From what I've known, the vast majority of people that I know from Chicago still call it the Sears Tower, because that's what it was originally called and called for a very long time. It's the Sears Tower. So this is what I would assume Twitter is going through, even if it no longer has that iconic bird logo that has been replaced with what I would assume a cool looking X logo. I will admit that. I definitely like the new logo. People are still going to call it Twitter. I'll probably still be one of those guys. Maybe the new name will grow on me at some point, like with the Kaseya Center. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A name change really isn't that big of a priority for Twitter. I think it's a little stupid choosing X for a name. But I understand the historical context, and having a super app in the United States isn't necessarily a bad idea. And to be honest with you, I think it's pretty interesting. I even have my own idea. When sideloading and having multiple app stores becomes a thing on iOS, I have this idea of creating an app store within an app store, where multiple app stores like the Epic Games Store, the Amazon Store, Google Play, Alt Store, and maybe even custom third-party app stores in the form of sources and repos like Cydia on jailbroken phones. Instead of having multiple icons for the Epic Games Store and many other third-party app stores cluttering the home screen, why not bundle every single third-party app store all into one app? And why not being able to add a repo of other lesser-known third-party app stores, a super app store, the Walmart of app stores? You can be able to download anything from different app stores into one central location. I think that's a really good idea. if you're a software developer, I'd like to hope this project comes to fruition. So yeah, Twitter's officially dead. We're gonna be bidding our farewells pretty soon to Twitter and say hello to X, I guess. I'm gonna miss that iconic bird logo. I'm gonna miss calling it Twitter, and I'm still gonna call it Twitter because, again, the American Airlines Arena or Sears Towers analogy, Staples Center in LA can also fit in that as well. I dislike that the name is being changed. I dislike that the logo is being changed. Years from now, it's gonna be a nostalgia thing for us, and people are gonna be asking, oh, do you remember the time Twitter existed? Remember that blue bird logo? And people are gonna be like, oh yes, I was around when X was still called Twitter. So long, Twitter. You will be missed. Well, not necessarily missed. At times, you were a toxic cesspool full of swamp creatures, but for nostalgia factor alone, I really am going to miss Twitter. And it's sad to see the app go and be rebranded. However, as much as I don't like the name change, as much as I don't like the logo change, well, I like the logo itself, I'm just against the rebrand, but I am still looking forward to see what this super app will offer. Of course, I'd like to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this rebrand? Do you like the name change? Do you hate the name change? Do you like the new logo? Do you hate the new logo? Are you pumped up about this everything app project that Elon Musk is trying to build? Are you gonna miss Twitter? Are you excited for X? Be sure to leave all your thoughts in the comments down below, as I always end the conversation down to you. Of course, I've already shared my opinion. I don't like the name change. It's gonna be sad seeing Twitter go. This truly is the end of Twitter. And soon, we're gonna be saying goodbye to the bird that we all know and love. Elon, my man, I like what you did with Twitter. I appreciate you trying to build this super app project. But getting rid of Twitter altogether and completely rebranding and changing its name and logo, it's gonna be a very tough pill for me to swallow. So as always, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button down below. And if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the little notification bell. Be sure to follow me on all my social medias, links are in the description below. That includes my X account, which is also linked in there as well. Gonna be a pain trying to change my descriptions on pretty much every single video that I have there. I'm hoping the twitter.com links will redirect to the new x.com link once Twitter becomes fully rebranded, so be sure to follow me there. That is where I'm the most active. Share this video with all your friends, families, boyfriends, girlfriends, enemies, whomever. Definitely helps me out a lot, helps the video grow, helps grow the channel if you share this video around with whomever you know. Don't forget to share your own input in the comments down below. But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, ring notifications, and until then, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.